America's fascist stepmother, Kari Lake, has come out in support of Donald Trump's claims that we should take the beloved Constitution, douse it with gasoline, throw a match on it, and chuck it off of a cliff. Verbatim. No, I'm kidding. Well, here is her reading this message and being very much supportive of the idea that anything is justified if we can make enough false claims about the election.
A massive voter fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Our great founders did not want and would not condone false and fraudulent elections. I agree with them on that. Can you imagine our founding fathers, what they went through to help bring about this great nation? Seeing what happened in 2020, really seeing what's happening now in 2022, just saying, okay, well, I guess it didn't go our way, and I guess they cheated. We know they rigged the elections, and they put in a bumbling fool who doesn't even have the mental capacity to run this country. Okay, just get over it. We'll just let the loser take the White House. I don't think that would happen. President Trump is saying we are in unprecedented times, and unprecedented measures are necessary,
including terminating the Constitution. What's funny, though, is I think in a sense she's correct that our founders would be horrified watching 2020, because they would be horrified at, for so long, the democracy worked as it did because everyone was on board for the most part with there were problems, of course, but as far as the election process being secure and accurate, that had been going pretty well. Individuals conceded when they lost for the most part, and there was an all-out attack on that. And so, yes, the founders would be horrified, but for the opposite reason than she would expect. I have a clip for you of her as well. The strangest thing I've ever seen of a group on kind of a call during a show praying on the election to not be stolen. Take a look at this.
We cannot be part of thievery. And Lord, that which the people have done to try to steal this election shall come back upon their own heads. For now is the season and the hour for things to begin to shift and change as global freedom shall cover this earth. We cannot be part of...
What does it mean that it should come back on their heads? Sounds a little violent. And I have more to show you of her appearing with Steven Crowder in a second here. But this strange belief in these claims beyond any evidence that they can bring forward, and just completely ignoring the concept of objective reality and just going completely with, it's all about belief in the stolen election, and that being their solution to prevent the thing that's not actually happening is just making this all even more weird. Now here's her continuing to lie on Steven Crowder's program.
We're going to take this all the way to the Supreme Court. What happened in Maricopa County, if we allow this to stand, Stephen, we'll never have an election again. Nobody will ever show up and vote. Yep. I think that's why a lot of people didn't show up in Georgia. They saw what happened in Arizona, and they said these elections are it's just a sham. Why should we show up? We're going to take this all the way to the...
So what's funny is, again, she's correct in the opposite way. It's true that probably less people went out to vote for the Republican Party, as we saw in 2020, because of the lies that they tell that it's all getting stolen, so why would you go vote?
Exactly.
But not because it was actually stolen, just because people like her perpetuated those lies. And it reminded me of a conversation we had at the Latrobe, Pennsylvania Trump rally with a Trump supporter who said, my son believes the election was stolen. How do I, so he won't go vote. How do I get him to vote? And I told her, you're the one making him believe it's stolen. So of course he wouldn't want to go vote. Why would you want to vote in an election where magical foreign influence is flipping votes digitally in a machine that's not connected to the internet and couldn't even be hacked like that? And so I was trying to convey to her that if you tethered yourself more to reality and learned more about the process of gathering correct evidence that's actual evidence, then you could explain that to him and stop lying to him, and maybe he would want to participate in democracy. So they are going to keep suppressing their vote as the Republican Party by telling these lies. And even though it helps the Democratic Party in the long run, I don't want that. I don't want the way the Democratic Party wins is because the Republican Party doesn't believe in democracy, because there's other huge ramifications of that as well, as we cover every single day. But you can see Kari Lake, she's just not stopping, and it's extremely dangerous because now the election's been certified. I guess she's saying she's doing a legal challenge that will go nowhere. And as we saw in 2020 with Donald Trump and the Mike Lindells and all this, they won't stop. They always say, give us more time to prove the stuff before you go forward and certify. But then months, years down the line, they still haven't had enough time to find the evidence and prove it. And so they'll continue doing this and continue stoking fear and lies among their base.